Hey, how are you? You're doing fine, you say? You're not doing fine?
I'm fantastic.
I'm going to brighten your day. How's that sound? I promise to brighten your day. If you promise to brighten my day, and you're brightening my day just by being out there, by listening to Student of the Gun Radio. Oh, my Lord. So many things to talk about.
So much things.
So many things. So much to speak of, to discuss, to consider. Should we even consider anything, Jared? Should we consider things, or should we just say forget it?
I wonder that every day.
Maybe we should change it over to student of the ball, and we could just like spend an hour every day talking about our fantasy football picks. We could do that.
I don't want those people.
You don't want to do that?
I don't want to talk to those people.
You don't want to do that? Oh, okay. Well, here we are at Student of the Gun Radio. We are at the Glass Case of Emotion Studios, which is located inside of Student of the Gun University. Yes, on the sunny Gulf Coast of Mississippi. Come on down and see us sometime. Or don't. You're an American.
Oh, poor Paulie over there is tired.
Oh, I don't know.
Actually, I think it's the depression from looking at the news that just makes me want to go to sleep too.
I don't even know what to say. You know, I feel like should we ignore it? Should we pretend like it's not happening? No, that's what the sheep do. The sheep just ignore it and pretend like it's not happening.
We're honey badgers, so
that's right. I was feeling like ripping someone's face off today. I was going to go full on honey badger earlier today. Bless your brother's heart. He was just trapped in the truck with me and he had to listen. So, but anyway, here we go with Student of the Gun Radio. Now, I'm going to tell you guys this, that today is Wednesday, and because it is Wednesday, we have the SWAT Fuel Fitness Talk, and we're going to do that. Before we do that, I want to thank our friends at Crossbreed Holsters, crossbreedholsters.com, Century Arms at centuryarms.com, and I guess I'm a little bit depressed because I called up my friends at Cook's Gun Shop. That's where I get my guns delivered to. And my C39 RPK is not there. So I checked the tracking number, and it says out for delivery. Well, take your time. You know, don't rush or anything. Take your time. So I was kind of hoping by the time that I got to the radio to talk to you folks today that I could tell you all about it. At least I could tell you how it looked and that I had it in my hot little hands. But it is not to be. Maybe tomorrow. But fear not. According to the Federal Express tracking software, it's on the truck and it's out for delivery. So at some point in time, it will get delivered. Of course, I don't know if the driver realizes that Cook's Gun Shop closes at 5:30 p.m. I don't know. I'm not in charge. Actually, I am in charge. I'm in charge here, but I'm not in charge of FedEx.
I was about to say, can you say that one more time?
I am in charge.
No, not that one.
What?
What you said before that.
I don't know what I said before that.
Of course not.
All right, so I got something cool to tell you guys. You folks know that we have this thing called the Student of the Gun Grad Program. And the Student of the Gun Grad Program is essentially, it's the bonus material, the extra material, the behind-the-scenes stuff, the Friday news, or the Friday bonus hour, the Tactical Tutor newsletter that you get every month. And we give our grad program people first dibs on new products. For instance, when the Faith and the Patriot book came out, Jared sent it out to the grad program people first. Same thing with the Sweet Boot on the rubber raft patches, the Wrong Like Dick cancer stickers, which hopefully will be in this week. Their sticker maker said that they should be in this week. As you're hearing this, they're probably, or if they're not in, they should be on their way.
Did we announce it to the public yet?
The Dick cancer stickers?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they're probably sold out now. So.
Well, we make things. People are like, well, how come you're doing the grad program? Well, let me tell you exactly why the grad program people get first dibs at whatever. Because they have made an investment. They are invested in Student of the Gun. You say, I'm invested in Student of the Gun. Yes, I understand that you're listening to me, and congratulations. And I'm glad that you're listening to me. But folks, the people who of the grad program, they have made a commitment to be a part of the group. And because of that, we reward them. We give away a whole bunch of the Black Hawk lights. We gave away the car pistol, the CM9 pistol, the Crossbreed holster, Frog Loop products. Oh, the grad program folks participated back in January. I can't believe it's freaking September already. And that we did the Warrior, the SWAT Fuel Warrior Challenge. We did that all the way back in January into February. But those guys, they participated in that. The latest thing that we have, and I'm going to explain this to you. We have a sponsor on Student of the Gun TV called Inland, INLAND, Manufacturing. And Inland Manufacturing makes replica World War II firearms. They make the firearms that essentially as they were made or like they were made during World War II. They make 1911 pistols, and they make M1 carbine, not M1 Garand, but M1 carbine rifles. They make the paratroopers one with the folding stock, and they have a model called the 1945. It has the bayonet lug, and essentially it looks like all of the wooden stock carbines that you saw in the old black and white Iwo Jima footage or the old black and white D-Day footage and what have you. Well, they're our friends, and they're a sponsor of Student of the Gun Television. So we said to them, hey, it would be kind of cool if we could give away one of those 1945 carbines to a grad program member. And we're going to run it, we're going to announce it, and we're going to run it the entire month of September, and we're going to pick a winner in October from the list of active grad program members, because that's what we do. It pays to be a grad program member because, well, it just does. And you say, well, I want one too. Well, all right, go to the store and buy one. I don't know what to tell you. The fact of the matter is the people in the grad program do a lot to support this show. They give us it's not just monetary support. It's encouragement. It's show notes. It's all the sticker fun that we have with them. And I'm not going to apologize for that. And apparently some people out there, a few weak-willed people, want me to apologize for that, and I'm not going to. But what I'm going to do right now that we've talked about that, and you want more information about it, follow us on Facebook. I'm going to send out, because I understand that not everybody who's on the newsletter, that's what freaks me out, Jared, or makes me, I don't understand. People sign up for the Student of the Gun newsletter and they don't listen to the radio, or vice versa. And I don't know how anybody listens to the radio and hasn't signed up for the free newsletter. I don't get that. But we're going to be doing a broadcast this week describing the deal and what it is all about. But it is Wednesday, and because it's Wednesday, that means that it is SWAT Fuel Fitness Talk Day, and you know you want to move it and move it and move it.
As we promised you guys, I'm going to give you the origin of my Little Fedor nickname. But first, I had a question about meal prepping, because I posted a picture on, I don't know if I posted it on Student of the Gun Facebook or not, but I posted a picture of Alex and I prepping our meals for yesterday. And the reason you meal prep is to make sure that you stick to your meal plan. Because if you wait till the last minute and you're like, oh, I have to do all this stuff, I have to defrost the chicken, I have to cook the chicken, I have to get all this other stuff together to put on my plate. Why don't you pre-cook this stuff, prep the chicken? I just prepped it so I could cook it here at the studio, but get everything, weigh it out or measure it out or however you do it, put it in little Tupperware containers so that way you can just grab it and go. You have everything you need. It's already portioned. And it's easy for you to stick to your meal plan. Because let's face it, humans like easy. They just do. They like to take the easy road. And so that's, if you guys want more information on meal prepping, specific meal plans, stuff like that, contact me, because it's different for everybody. What I eat is not going to be what you need to eat. And there's a couple of different meal plans I have. I'm actually testing a new one right now. I just started the first day. And seeing which one works better for me. Like we said before in a previous episode of Student of the Gun Radio, we talked about trial and error. What you need to find what works for your body. So that's what I'm doing. Now, Dad, I'm going to need your help a little bit on the Lil Fedor origin, because, I mean, I know that I earned, or I would you say earned?
You were given the nickname.
Yeah, I was given the
That's
nickname.
the thing about nicknames is MMA people get involved in mixed martial arts. A lot of these kids, they get involved in it so they can give themselves a nickname.
That's not the way it works.
Yeah, they go to the gym and they give themselves a nickname. You know, it's like, wow, you've been here a whole 3 weeks and you've already decided that you're the Terminator or the Devastator or the whatever, or the Ultimate Warrior, or whatever you are. And I always found it just ridiculous that amateur MMA fighters, it's like their first one. Their first amateur MMA fight, and they're announced as Ricky the Terminator Jones. Like, he's 19 and he's never done this before, but he's the Terminator now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jared came down and started training at Dixon's Dungeon. I moved down here first, as many of you probably know the Markle story or what have you. Spent a year down here working for the military, and then brought Jared down, and obviously the whole family, after he graduated from high school. And up to that point, Jared had been training in Shingatai Jiu-Jitsu for a couple of years up there with a fantastic coach named John Saylor. I found a place down here, was run by a martial arts Hall of Famer named John Dixon, who has fought K1 and MMA. He's fought in Russia, and he's fought in Japan and in Europe and so forth. Very, very solid guy with a good school. So brought Jared down. He starts training, and one of the first things he did was there was a local grappling match. And it was just a submission grappling. You wear shorts and a T-shirt, and that was it. No striking, no gi work, just submission grappling. So Jared got in that, and the guys from the gym, this was the first time that Jared had ever performed, I guess, in front of the gym guys, because it's easy for people to go to a gym. A lot of people go to the gym and they punch the bag, or they do some exercises or whatever. But the true definition of a person's character is when they're actually competing, or they're actually involved in something real, where the outcome is not predetermined. And Jared, you won. Well, you won 2 or 3 matches, but then you lost by points to the one guy. Or
yeah,
something.
I lost to the dude that owned the gym down here.
The guy that owned the one gym. Yeah. So 18-year-old Jared was doing submission grappling against the guy who owned one of the local grappling gyms. But John and some of the other guys, I think it was probably Little John Brown and so forth, and probably.
His nickname is Doo-Doo.
You had Little Doo-Doo Brown, Little John Doo-Doo Brown, or what have you. And probably Scott, too, were watching. And they were all standing over the side watching. They're like, man, he kind of fights like Fedor, Fedor Emelianenko. So they're like, man, he fights like Fedor, but he's not big like Fedor. He's more like a little Fedor. Mm-hmm. And, pretty much the die was cast. So all of the guys at the gym started referring to Jared as Lil Fedor.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I actually didn't know that story. I didn't know it came from that grappling tournament. I thought it came from when I was sparring.
No, it was when they were watching you.
Oh wow, yeah, I didn't know that. That's cool. I just learned something about myself that I didn't know.
So anyway, the point is Jared did not name himself Little Fedor or Lil, Fedor. He was.
If you gave yourself a nickname. If you had to nickname yourself, then you're a tool.
Yeah, if you're calling yourself the whatever, that's really not how it's supposed to work. And if you've never even competed or fought and you already have a nickname for yourself, you need to take a step back, work on your fundamentals. It's like, look at some of the greatest people ever. They never had them, and the UFC's like, oh, you have to have a nickname. Like Matt Hughes. What's Matt Hughes' nickname?
I don't know.
It's nothing. It's Matt Hughes.
The kid.
Yeah, Matt Hughes. And a lot of really good guys. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from people, but the fact is most of them, they made their bones, and they were given a nickname by whatever. Like Mookie said, but on the Seals and what have you. When you're in the teams,
yeah,
You get your nicknames given to you. You don't choose your own nickname, and generally it's because you did something stupid. Like he said his nickname for a while was Pyro, and it wasn't because he was really good at it. It was because I'm sure he accidentally set something on fire, which will happen. It happens. Anyway, that is that's the people are like, oh, where does this little Fedor thing come from? And it's not Fedor.
Yeah, it's not like a hat. Fedor. Anybody that pays attention to martial arts knows who Fedor Emelianenko is, because he supposedly was the best pound for pound fighter for a few years.
Yeah.
And that was one reason when they started calling me Little Fedor, and I was like, man, I don't want to walk out to that nickname because it's a lot to live up to. And I'm not saying that.
I don't think you did until like the third. I think it was a Guitars and Cadillacs fight.
I never. This was this pro fight that I just had was the first time I ever got announced as.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And I know what it was. Is one of the promoters posted something on Facebook. It was like after your third or fourth fight.
Yeah, it was on MMA Underground or something.
Oh, yeah, and people got all butthurt. They're like, "Who's this guy think he is?
Yeah.
Who's this guy think he is calling himself that?"
Come to the gym, you know where it is.
Yeah, there's all kinds of air and opportunity. If you're really feeling super butthurt and you're looking for a way to work out your aggression,
yeah,
we have a whole entire 2,000 square foot room full of air and opportunity. So anytime you're feeling like like you're froggy and you're like, I want to go show those guys. Rock on, we're here. Google it. Show up. But if you do, you should actually bring some huevos with you. And that's the thing is nobody without huevos ever shows. The forum balls people that are in their mom's basement. I don't like what you say. Yeah, get out of your mom's basement and come out into this. If you are brave enough to leave your mom's basement and come out into the sunlight with the meat eaters, come on down. We'll have a talk. We'll talk. Do whatever you want to do. The code Duello apparently is on Google. Apparently I can Google code Duello. We probably don't want to go down that road, though. Do you want to go down that road? No, Jared says we don't want to go down that road. All right, let's go down the road of, and I guess that's pretty much it, right? That is the SWAT Fuel Fitness Talk of the day. Now, when you go to SWAT Fuel Store, you want to use the promo code SOTG2015. If you use that, oh, crap, Jared, I forgot to tell you that story has audio in it. The next story has audio, and I apologize for not highlighting that in the show notes. But yeah, use SOTG2015. You're going to save yourself some money because you want to do that, right? I know I do. You do. Everybody wants to save themselves some money. Now, this next story that Jared's over there queuing up the audio for, it hits kind of close to home because it affected the Student of the Gun listening family. And someone who listens to Student of the Gun on a regular basis, their sister was assaulted, and this is a story about that. And the reason that I wanted to bring this up and I wanted to discuss it was because you and I and people in the pro-gun, pro-self-defense, pro-liberty community, we constantly run into the reasonableness disease. How many people have you encountered in your life, whether it's at work or their family members or church members or whatever, they think, well, I might want to get a gun, or we're thinking about, the wife and I are thinking about getting our concealed carry permits. And you're like, okay, well, do it. And then what do? They might go out and get their permits, and they might actually buy guns, but they don't want their family and friends. They don't want to seem paranoid. They don't want, I'm not crazy. I'm not paranoid. I actually had somebody at an indoor range, public indoor range, and I'm shooting, and I told the story to him, but I'm going to tell it again. He's like, oh, do you shoot a lot or something? I was like, well, yeah, I shoot some. But he's like, well, and I said, well, this is what we do. I gave him a Student of the Gun card, and I said, we do training. And he's like, oh, yeah, I already got my permit. He said, but I don't carry all the time or anything. He goes, I really don't carry hardly at all, but because I'm not paranoid. I'm not looking for trouble. So here we go. We've got a guy who took the time. He purchased a firearm, got himself a permit. He's got all the stuff, but he doesn't even carry a gun.
Did you attack him and say, oh, you should have had it? No,
you were there. But so here we have somebody that that they're so concerned that, like, strangers or whatever will think they're unreasonable or think that they're paranoid. I don't want people to think I'm unreasonable. I don't want people to think I'm crazy or something. I'm not looking for trouble. It's not about looking for trouble. Sometimes trouble is just out there looking for to whom it may concern. They're not specifically looking for you as an individual. They're just looking, trouble is looking for a victim. Trouble is looking for a place to land. And you just happen to be there. And that can be any time, anywhere. How many times, folks, have you heard reasonable folks talking about self-defense? How many times have you gone to a family gathering or, whatever, a work outing or something, and somehow the topic of concealed carry or gun ownership or whatever, it comes up. And you always have the one jackhole, the guy who is the expert. And he's like, wow, I don't see why you would think you would need to have a gun, carry a gun when you're at home. I don't see why you think you need to carry a gun while you're, during the day when you're just shopping. I mean, what are you expecting to happen at the grocery store? Or blah, 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 blah. And, well, the thing is, I'm not expecting anything to happen. If I was expecting someone to come and assault me, I would have a rifle in my hand. So there would be that. The reason I'm carrying a handgun is because I'm not expecting anything, but I'm reasonable enough, and I have enough sense in my brain to know that sometimes bad people just come to you. It's nothing to do with you going out and looking for trouble. Jared, do you have this story queued up?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead and cue up the. This is a news story from WGNTV.com. And the title of the story is horrible. It's Woman Stabbed, Beaten Inside Willowbrook Home. Jared's going to play the audio, and then we're going to discuss it.
I believe it is very dangerous. I mean, this woman went through quite a beating.
Police released a sketch of a man who stabbed, beat, and sexually assaulted a woman in her west suburban Willowbrook home. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jackie Bang. Robert Jordan has the night off. WGN's Eric Rung is in Willowbrook tonight with the very latest.
This
Eric.
is Illinois, suburb of Chicago.
Good evening, Jackie. Police say that the victim in this case was able to provide them with some very detailed information about her attacker. They have received a number of tips here at the police department, but so far not the one that has led to an arrest. In a town of fewer than 10,000 and on a street with just a dozen or so homes, people tend to know their neighbors.
Oh, we know everybody on the street. Yeah, well, of course. We see somebody different, you notice it.
That's why last Thursday, when Steve Braher noticed a young man in a hoodie on a cell phone at the corner of his street, he thought about asking where he was headed.
Because this is one street. It's all industrial behind us. So what are you doing there? So I stop. He walks away. I go, okay. Then I go to work.
Steve says it was this man.
And when I saw the sketch, I said, that's the guy that I saw in the corner.
Without a doubt.
Oh, no, that was him.
The same man, police say, forced his way into Steve's next-door neighbor's home around 1:15 yesterday afternoon and stabbed a 26-year-old woman more than a dozen times, beat her so badly, her sister says, he broke 6 bones and sexually assaulted her. When paramedics arrived, she was slipping in and out of consciousness. We spoke with her father, who has spent hours at his daughter's bedside.
We're a family that believes in God and don't understand this at all. But I know that somehow, some way, that it's going to work. It's going to work out.
Police say the victim was out in the driveway getting ready to head to her mother's birthday party when the suspect, who she says she has never seen before, drove up in a blue 2006 Nissan Altima with tinted windows and a Bicentennial Indiana license plate on the back. He asked for gas money and she refused and went inside. He followed her to the side door and asked to use the phone. She refused and said, "I'm calling the police." That's when police say he forced his way into the home and attacked the woman. She ran next door for help.
It was so filthy and evil to see that it wasn't my daughter laying there when I first walked in the room because her face was unrecognizable other than her beautiful right green eye when she opened her right green eye and said, "Dad, I fought as hard as I could." And that probably was the most humbling part of my life right there. knowing that my little baby had to fight for her life.
Police were back in Paul's neighborhood this afternoon, hand-delivering the sketch of the suspect that attacked his daughter to everyone in the neighborhood. They are also posting it at a mall in town. Police are also warning people to keep their guard up and doors locked.
Well, we're very worried because this is something that doesn't happen here.
That's why it has shaken this town of fewer than 10,000 so much, and it will likely haunt those who live on this street line with just a dozen or so homes forever. Now, the Willowbrook Police Department is working with 15 other nearby police departments to try and catch this guy. They're even working with police in Indiana. We're live in Willowbrook. I'm Eric Rung, WGN News.
All right. Step number one. Where's the first break in the armor? Where's the first break in the chain? Neighbor sees guy in hoodie. Did he have a bag of Skittles? And he was skipping along to the grocery store to buy himself some Skittles? Is that what he's doing? Did he look like Comrade Barry's unborn son? I was going to say something to him. Like, hey, can I help you? What are you doing? But I didn't. So that was step number one. Someone had the opportunity to confront this guy. Not what you say, what are you supposed to do, Paul? Whip out a gun and say, hey, buddy. No, but what I would do, absolutely, if I knew someone was... That was the sniff test. That was the something stinks here test. This guy knew instinctively, the neighbor knew that this guy, there was something wrong there, that he shouldn't have been there, right? That he was up to no good. Now, me, you're like, wow, you were a police officer, and you know. Yeah, if I saw a guy like that just kind of slinking around, I'm not going to just drive to work because he's probably waiting for me to go work so he can break into my house. But what time was it? What time? 1 o'clock in the afternoon. How many of your friends and neighbors and reasonable people that you know, if you told them you were carrying a gun during the day or you had one on you when you were at home, attached to your body, even at home? Well, what are you expecting to happen at your house? You wear a gun in your own house? Yeah, I hear that. You hear that. We've heard that. Yeah, this is why, Sparky, when people say things like that to you, you may want to say to them, so you don't think that a bad person could come to your house and force their way in? Well, it's the middle of the day, because everybody gets it from, their thought process from movies. The bandit who shows up at 2 a.m. and is slinking around in the bushes looking to pick the lock on your back door. That's not the modern monster. That's not the modern criminal. They're opportunists. They're vermin. And so here we have a young woman who's been traumatized, victimized, for no other reason than just being at home. Because this piece of human filth that is still at large as we record this just decided that looked like a good place to go. Clue number one. A stranger approaches you, asks you for money. Keep your distance. Clue number two. Stranger says, can I use your phone?
After she went inside, so he had went up to the door.
Yeah. Number three. Keep a gun where you can put your hand on it all the time. But this is Illinois. Now, in Illinois, you can, after paying a lot of money and jumping through a lot of different hoops, you can arm yourself with, I guess it's state-approved firearms. But how many of you out there listening, when I got this story, I forwarded it to my wife and my daughter, and I told them, I said, read this. Because women have this nasty habit of thinking that things won't happen to them because they think happy thoughts. Because they wouldn't harm anyone else. They wouldn't go out of their way to beat someone, rape someone, stab someone. They wouldn't. They're nice people. And they assume that everyone else, as long as you're nice to them, will be nice to you. Or maybe you have people in America today that have read the posters or the signs or listened to the advice of the experts. the expert advice about if you're ever confronted by a criminal, don't fight back. Give them what they want. That. How does that kind of advice, play out? When I see things like it, there was the local police department put out this officer-friendly poster, and it had crime prevention tips. And one of their crime prevention tips was, if you're ever confronted by a robber or a thief, don't fight back, don't risk it. Really? Well, here's what I'm telling you. If you're listening to me right now, and you're not currently armed, and your loved ones aren't currently armed, and even if you're home, yes, I always carry a gun when I have pants on. In my home, and not in my home, wherever. I want you to get to the point. You should get to the point where, if you can't put your hand on a firearm within 3 seconds, 1001, 1002, 1003. If you can't put your hand on a firearm in a 3 count, why? Ask yourself why. Why is that? And then ask yourself, is it a valid reason or is it an excuse? Or are you living on excuses? This is horrible, and I don't want it to happen to anyone. When I see things like this, when I hear things like this, you probably hear them too, and you think, and I know all the armed good guys in the audience think, I wish that guy would have come up to me. I wish that would have happened to me, because that dude would be currently, he would be fertilizer. And he wouldn't, because if you think that this piece of human filth, this vermin, just assaulted this woman and said, okay, I learned my lesson, I'll never do that again, you're high. You're insane. He's probably already, if he hasn't done it already to someone else, he's planning to do it to someone else. Someone else is going to be this guy's victim, and he's going to have victim after victim after victim until someone stops him. That's what I'm going to tell you. And I hope that this has been a wake-up call for you. We talk about it all the time, but this is another example of this should never happen, because it's the middle of the day. And I'm at my house in the middle of the day. And I'm not faulting this woman. What I'm faulting, and I'm telling you that there will be reasonable people out there that will try and talk you out of being armed. They'll tell you, oh, you don't want people to think you're paranoid. You don't want people to think you're crazy. Why would you do that? Don't listen to those people. The people that are trying to talk you out of being armed and prepared, are they going to be there to take the beating for you? Are they going to be there to defend you when you need it? Oh, they're not? Then don't listen to them. Do what you know is right. Prepare yourself to face evil. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Oh, this family, I believe if we look in here, let me look at the story. I was thinking that the family had a fund that you could donate to help them, but anyway, regardless. All right, moving on to the next one. This next story it offends my brain. But before we talk about that, let's talk about our friends at Brownells. Brownells.com. Check out their new products category. Oh, don't forget that the clock is ticking on the Century Arms rebate program to get a rebate on the TP9 SA. You go buy the SA, you save the receipt, you go on centuryarms.com, and you get yourself a $25 rebate. But the clock is ticking on that. It's not going to be up there forever, so take advantage of it. Duracoat can technology. It is a miracle in a can. I'm not even joking. And you can get that at Brownells. Frog Lube. It just works. It's green, it smells good, and it keeps your guns running. And I can't wait to lube up that Century RPK with Frog Lube and run it until the barrel is burning hot and I can fry bacon on it. And Velocity Triggers. Designed for precision. Check those guys out at velocitytriggers.com. Oh, one other thing I want to ask you guys. Are you listening to me right now? You are? Paying attention? Hey, pay attention.
I thought you were talking to me.
No, the audience, pay attention. Do me a favor. If you're a Facebook person, you say, I'm a Facebook person. I follow you guys. Fantastic. Will you please go over to it's Inland, INLAND, or Inland Manufacturing. And I believe their Facebook page it's Inland MFG. And you'll know when you get to it because there's a picture of a World War II paratrooper carbine. Do us a favor, do yourself a favor, do them a favor, be a nice guy, be a nice girl. Go over to their Facebook page and leave them a message. Say, hey, heard about you guys on Student of the Gun. Thank you for sponsoring their TV show, and we're looking forward to hearing more from you. All right, this next story, it is so... Jared, did this story, like, is it crazy, stupid, insane, retarded? I'm going to go ahead and say yes, it's all of those.
It is all of those. It just, I don't even... First time, okay, me being a tech dude, first time I read this, what you put in there, Dropbox. I was like, oh, hey, look there. I use Dropbox.
He's like, I use Dropbox all the time. What's wrong with Dropbox?
Yeah, and then I read the story, and I was like, wow, this is...
Oh.
Get a knife. I mean, get a life, bend that knife.
Yeah.
Or you could get a knife and bend that life.
Yeah. I talked to EJ today. He was talking about hammer control, and I said, did you get a sticker? And he said, no, I didn't know there were stickers. I was like, aha, we have to get you a sticker. There's a very, very limited number of stickers. But I digress. The story comes to us from guns.com, and the title is Tacoma, that's Washington, plans a gun drop box to get firearms off the street.
Was Ryan the one that sent you the damn it doll? I think it was.
Thank you, whoever sent me that.
That's so funny. It's more entertaining for me than the Tickle Me Ammo.
Are you retarded? Officials in Washington's third largest city would like to see a standalone drop box set up to allow residents to get rid of their guns. Here we go. I love the verbiage. To allow. The government's going to allow me? Oh, thank you, oh benevolent government. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much for allowing me to get rid of these evil guns. The concept, backed by police, the city gang reduction project coordinator. There's a tax thief if ever I've heard of one. If you want to know who the tax thieves in your city are, they have titles like gang reduction project coordinator. Hey, how come we have to pay so much tax in our city? Because we have to pay people like the Gang Reduction Project Coordinator. I guarantee you that person is a tool. And members of the city council, the concept backed by blah, 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 and members of the city council is part of an ongoing gun safety campaign started last year. While the city already allows the public to turn in guns to the police, those supporting the drop box contend that it could garner firearms from those that are unable or unwilling to contact authorities.
Maybe she's retarded.
I think he is retarded. I think the whole freaking state of Washington is filled with retards. Oh, I live in Washington, and I'm not a retard. Do you have a bayonet? Do your neighbors have bayonets? What do you mean? I'm just asking. Just throwing it out there. Here we go. Listen to this. This is from City Councilwoman, there's part of the problem right there, Victoria Woodwards, or Woodards, or retards, whatever. If we get one or two guns, guess what? That's one or two guns more not being accidentally or intentionally used. That's one less gun on the street. Ah!
Loud noises!
Tacoma Police Chief Don Ramsdale, who last year rejected calls for no questions asked gun buyback programs over concerns it could hamper potential investigations. Duh. While supporting the drop box, also contends guns deposited would be checked for possible crime involvement. Well, that's great. So what you're telling me now is that the Johnny gang member, if he whacks somebody with a gat, what he can do now, if he wants to get rid of it, is just wipe his prints off it and dump it in a box. And then what you're going to do is you're going to run it through ballistics, right? So apparently they got a crap ton of money in. Do you realize the cost in this? So what this genius is saying, that let's say you get a bunch of RTARDs, because apparently Washington is filled with RTARDs, especially Tacoma here. So you got a bunch of RTARDs that throw a crap ton of junk guns into this box. So what this dude is saying is they're going to take all those and they're going to do ballistic testing on them, not knowing that they are, or potentially, could be. I mean, I guess every gun that they find could potentially be a gun that was used in a crime, but the vast majority probably won't be. Jared, when they conduct ballistic testing at the crime labs in Washington State, do you think it's free?
Yeah, it's free.
It costs nothing?
Yeah, they do it for the government.
It's instantaneous.
Yeah, so it's free and you don't have to wait.
It's kind of like when people would ask me when they would call me to their to investigate a break-in in their garage, or somebody stole the cassette tapes out of their car, or stuff like that. And I would take the report and I would do my thing and what have you. And they're like, "Aren't you going to dust for fingerprints?" Yeah. I'm going to dust your car for fingerprints because you lost $21 worth of Aerosmith cassette tapes. And I'm going to send those fingerprints to the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation. And even though they're working on stuff from murders and rapes and what have you, they're going to push all that aside and they're going to analyze the fingerprints from your car burglary, because they don't have anything else on their plates. That's kind of like this, hey, what do you got there, Chief? The representative from the Washington Bureau of Criminal Investigation, What do you got there, Chief? Well, I got a bunch of junk guns that people turned in. I need you to conduct ballistic testing on it, and I need you to run a workup and give me back all the information, and we'll compare it with what we got. What? How about no? And here's the deal, Jared. This chief's not stupid. He might be retarded, but he's not stupid. He knows that they're not going to take every broken Jennings 22 pistol and that is in the box, and every starter gun, and every broken BB gun that gets tossed into this box by some moron, and conduct ballistic testing on it. It's not going to happen. Oh, but the story isn't over. The logistics of the receptacle are still being worked out, with discussion on how to keep the box secure, how to cushion guns being deposited, and the location of the box. City officials admit that it is a new concept. However, police, and they quote, police in the United Kingdom have set up anonymous turn-in bins to get knives off the streets after a series of stabbings. Using them for guns hasn't been explored yet. So they're like, well, if the spineless tax slaves in England can do it, in merry old England, why can't we do it with guns? Dude, am I like the... Jared, look at me. Look at this face. Is this the face of the amazing Kreskin? Am I the Nostradamus of the gun world? Do I know these morons like the back of my freaking glorious hand?
Apparently.
Last paragraph here, or almost last paragraph, second to last paragraph. Quote, nobody's never done this before that we're aware of, said Melissa Condero, the city's gang reduction project coordinator. That's why we have to be really careful and really think it through. The quote from Melissa Codiero, the city's gang reduction project coordinator, supervisor, says, "Nobody's never done this."
That's great English. I love it.
Did I not say 10 minutes ago that I don't even know who this person is, but they are a tool? Nobody's never done this before. Nobody's never done this before, though. But if we can get one gun off the street, Codero's department runs the city's ongoing gun safety education campaign launched last June, which asked parents and youth to take a pledge to help eliminate violence while advancing locked storage of firearms, providing a mechanism for the surrender of unwanted firearms to local police. So this is what this chick is, Melissa here. I'll call her Missy. Missy's coordinating a project where they convince children to take a pledge against violence, advocating locked storage of all firearms, and providing a mechanism for the surrender. Do you guys understand that words mean things? You do. You're a smart student of the gun. So when somebody who works for the government starts throwing out the word surrender to me, I think, really? Well, they don't mean that you just need to surrender your will to live or anything, or, surrender to the state. What they're saying is that we're providing you with a mechanism to surrender unwanted firearms to police. However, as noted on the campaign's website, those seeking to turn in guns still have to provide their name and contact information. Guns turned in, last sentence. Guns turned in will be destroyed. Oh, my Lord. There is so much stupid in this. And the Tacoma Police Chief Don Ramsdell and others are campaigning for an anonymous drop box for unwanted guns in the city. And he's standing in front of a podium. And the podium has a sign on it that says, Project Peace. Trust, relationships, understanding. Oh, is that how you defeat criminals and gangs? Is with trust, relationships, and understanding. Let's start the... And in cursive, I can barely read it, but it says... Let's start the conversation together. Aw, Jared, does that make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside? He's standing behind a widow sign, and the sign says, let's start the conversation together. Maybe you could have a lovely toasted cheese sandwich while you're at it. Project Peace. Trust, relationships, understanding. You are all a bunch of brain-dead morons. I swear to all that is holy. Evil people, criminals. Do you really think someone that uses a gun in crime is going to say, I don't really need this anymore, and it's unwanted? The only people that are going to do this are, morons, well-meaning morons. This is not going to stop gang members from getting and using firearms. This is not going to stop robbers and felons and rapists and murderers from getting weapons and using them. All this is going to do is to convince the mush-brained peasant class that guns are bad and I should surrender. This is, you know what this should be called? This should be called the grandma box. When I was a policeman many, many moons ago, not very often, but every once in a while, Granny would come walking into the police department with a shopping bag, with a paper shopping bag. And she would say, my husband Irving passed away last year, and I don't want this in the house anymore. And it would be a gun or a couple of guns. Or they would call, and they would say, my husband Irving passed away. Can you come to my house and take this gun? And we would say, now, if you're responsible, what we would do, and I know my buddy Doug would do this, say, you know you can sell that and make money because Granny's probably on a fixed income. And more than once, we would refer Granny to the local gun shop and say, hey, why don't you call? As a matter of fact, I know it was Sam. For a fact, Sam did. He had the number, the phone number of the local gun store, and when he would get those, he'd say, I can do that for you. I don't have a problem, but why don't you call this guy instead? Because a lot of times their dead husband, Irving, he might have something like pre-64 Winchesters, or, he might have an 1873 Colt single-action Army. He might have a Smith & Wesson Model 29. You don't know. Granny could be sitting on a few hundred or a few $1,000s. And what's really sick and twisted and disgusting, and something that insults me, is that there are these us against them. Guns are bad. Only cops should have guns. Only the state should have guns. These politician cops out there, like that you have in D.C., New York, Chicago. Do I need to go on? That Granny Hester will say, my husband Irving died, and I want to get rid of this. And so it's like a 1942 Luger that came over from World War II, and they'll take it and destroy it. Because not take it and sell it to a collector and give Granny the $1,000. No, we'll take it and we'll destroy it because it's evil. That's sick and it's twisted, and you shouldn't have to put up with it from your civil servants. The police are supposed to work for the community. The community's not supposed to be some peasant subservient class that views the police as their masters. But what the hell? I don't know. I'm just a dummy. I'm just a big dummy. But go ahead and all right. I know you're all ready. You hear that? Mm-hmm. That's the people in Washington writing to me. We're not. You know what, dudes? You need to stand up against people like Missy Cordero here, the gang reduction project coordinator supervisor, and her surrender campaign. That's a tax thief. Well, nobody's never going to do that. So, I don't know.
I was looking at the little ad thingies down here at the bottom of the article, and one of them says, legal steroid turning men into beasts. Why do men need a steroid to be turned into beasts? I don't understand.
I'm already a beast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't take no steroids. I'm already a beast. I just take SWAT fuel, and I lift heavy things, and I put them back down, and then I sweat. And you can sweat, too, if you're at Fight U, but you're not. So go to wherever it is that you sweat and sweat. All right, crazies. That's it. We're going to put the wraps on this turkey, and we will talk to you tomorrow.